Traditional wisdom says decades of schooling makes you smart, but the process often ends by burying you in debt. The alternative is vague internet advice, where passive habits like eating blueberries are somehow magically supposed to raise your IQ. Even advice from history's undisputed geniuses is often impractical for someone trying to learn a modern skill to pay their bills. Neither institutional degrees nor viral life hacks offer a concrete method for actually acquiring information and making it stay in your head. The real foundation of intelligence is the consumption of dense, unfiltered information, found primarily in nonfiction books. This provides a direct path to a broader vocabulary and a library of conversational topics that lack the fluff of a typical YouTube video. Your brain actually acts like a massive spam filter, automatically deleting incoming data it deems useless for survival. Reading a book is merely the start. The real challenge is finding a way to bypass that filter so you actually retain what you read. This is the learning curve, a visual map of the speed at which you acquire a new skill. You only need 20% of the available knowledge on a subject to master 80% of the actual skill. But just reading that 20% isn't enough. Physical practice is the trigger that signals to your brain that this information is worth keeping. Theoretical knowledge remains spam until physical application forces your biology to classify it as a necessary tool. But how do you lock in knowledge when you don't have the tools or the environment to physically practice? Take a car's engine. You might read about jump-starting a dead battery, but you likely don't have 2 cars and a set of cables ready for a drill. Mental visualization serves as a dry run. Vividly imagining the steps in a high-stakes scenario, you convince your brain that the information has been used. This mental rehearsal bypasses the spam filter, turning temporary facts into a permanent part of your memory without you moving a muscle. This is why schools use exams. They create an artificial emergency that forces the brain to hold on to data it would otherwise delete. In some cultures, academic failure carries severe consequences, which creates a massive biological incentive for the brain to grip every piece of data. You can replicate this pressure yourself. Create practice questions and imagine a life-or-death situation where your survival depends on knowing the answer. Self-testing is the most direct way to convince your biology that abstract concepts are tools worth keeping in long-term storage. The final stage of intelligence is social, using your retained knowledge in conversation to build respect and authority. Unlike other primates, our ability to exchange complex ideas gives us a distinct evolutionary edge. However, leading with a "well, actually" to prove someone wrong is a social disaster that makes you instantly unlikable. Instead, pivot. Frame your knowledge as something you casually read the other day to stay humble while still appearing informed. True intelligence is the ability to teach others what you know without making them feel intellectually inferior. The process is simple. Start by selecting high-density nonfiction material to feed your brain. Then, bypass the forgetting filter using the 80-20 rule, mental visualization, and high-stakes testing. Finally, share that knowledge with humility to ensure it translates into actual social value. Intelligence is a repeatable pipeline of curating dense inputs, bypassing retention filters, and applying that knowledge to your social life.